Given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe.
What is up, everyone? For this Wellness Wednesday, I'm going to go over how cheat meals can actually benefit you when it comes to weight loss and how it works. Now, leptin is the survivalist protein. I like to refer to as the survivalist protein in your body. Now, when it comes down to it, when you go into too much of a caloric deficit, your body will look at the leptin. Leptin will respond to your body saying, hey, he is or she is in way too much of a caloric deficit. There's a chance that 9 out of 10, he or she is going into starvation. I need to store and maintain this fat as much as possible for the energy source. That's all it cares about. All it cares about is survival. That's it. It doesn't care about how you look on the outside. It's just survival. Plus, you gotta take into account the environment that you're in. If it's wicked cold out, there's a high probability that your leptin levels, when you go into a caloric deficit, is going to maintain that fat as much as possible and hold on to it for dear life, because it sees it as an energy source, it sees it as a heat source, and ultimately it's going to help you to stay in that colder environment. Now, when it comes down to it though, how does cheat meals affect leptin levels? How does cheat meals help you with weight loss? If your leptin levels, if you go into a caloric deficit and your leptin levels, now I'm talking normal caloric deficit of like 250 to 500 under your maintenance level, then your leptin levels will slowly start to decrease. This is natural. It's slowly going to start to decrease. Once it gets down here, there's a high probability a lot of people who have lost weight, they will struggle. They'll hit a plateau. They don't know why. They're focusing on the nutrition, they're training, they're doing everything they can, but they're super strict on it. They are trying their best. But the leptin level is holding on to that fat saying, hey, I've had enough. You have been way too much a caloric deficit, and you could be doing everything right, but your leptin levels is focusing on survival. It's going to hold on to that fat until it sees, hey, if you have a cheat meal, it's going to see it as, hey, this person has enough calories. I'm going to let go of this fat and let you get rid of the fat, because it sees the energy sources, the units of energy, calories, coming back in. That will increase the leptin levels up. Now, of course, it's going to slowly start to decrease again. But if you have these cheat meals, I usually say once a week or once every 2 weeks. I usually do it once every 2 weeks, and usually on payday. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes I do it once a week or something like that. But that is how I do it. I practice what I preach. I will apply any type of theory to myself, any type of exercising that I show to you guys, or I will mention to you guys, I've done to myself. Because ultimately, I would rather have it where if I do something and I see the effect and I feel the effect, I can tell you what is going to go down, how it feels to me, and then back it up with the research, which in the description below will go over what leptin does. We'll go over how a cheat meal can benefit you. Now, example of cheat meals is if you normally eat a bunch of chicken, like chicken breasts, if it once in a while on the cheat meal time, if you want to replace the chicken breast with chicken wings, go for it. If you want to have it where, let's say, for example, Sunday night, every other day you were doing awesome, and Sunday night you decide to have some Ben & Jerry's, a couple scoops of Ben & Jerry's, fine, go for it. That will actually help you. But ultimately, take into account your sleep, your training, and what were you doing for that 80% to 90% of the time. Was it nutrient-dense foods? Because if it was, then that 20% to 10% area, depending on the individual, can be some bad foods or not so healthy foods. Now, if you have any questions on can this apply to me, nutrition plans, exercise routines, anything like that, you could always DM me on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Or you can just comment down below. Now, when it comes down to it, I have experience with helping people online and in person. So I can help you out no matter which way. And on top of that, in person, I am a personal trainer at 2 different gyms. So when it comes down to it, I can help you in Manchester area, no problem. As always, if you do have any questions, always DM me, and stay strong.
What you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians.